Hello and welcome to the Tottenham Pod, and in today's first episode of the podcast we do have a match review from the 2-1 win against Crystal Palace on Friday night. The next podcast episode we do will be on Monday at some point, and it will be a Chelsea pre-match warm-up, I guess. Let's get straight into the podcast anyway. We're going to take a look I'm going to describe to you some of the best things we did. Starting with, let's have a look real quickly at the lineup. Now, this is a podcast, so it is a bit different, I guess, from your sort of YouTube, TikTok videos, because you're just listening to me, and on TikTok and looking at an image that says match review, whereas in TikTok, or YouTube, your normal videos, you usually see the person, so it's different. I kind of like it though. I think it's something new and I want to give it a go. So we're going to discuss the lineups first with Crystal Palace, the home team. We were at Selhurst Park. They played a 4-4-2 with their manager of Roy Hodgson. Sam Johnston was the goalkeeper. The back four, Ward, who scored the own goal, but we'll discuss that later. Anderson, Gahey, Mitchell, Ayew, Doucouré, Lerma, Schlupp, and the two strikers, which I thought was a weird one, for Edouard and Hughes. Will Hughes was a striker for them. Our lineup, it's been the same as it was all season really. Vicario in goal, the back four of Porro, Romero, Van der Ven. Actually Davies was in, wasn't he, because Udogie was ill, or he picked up a little knock or something like that. The midfield three of Sarr, Basuma and Maddison, with the front three of Kulusevski, Richarlison and Heung-min Son. Very strong team. Obviously Ange Postecoglou as our manager. The bench will first read out the names that actually appeared on the pitch. Emerson Royal, Højbjerg, Brennan Johnson, Brian Gill, Rodrigo, Bentancur. He is back, but we'll also discuss that later. Fraser Forster was a goalie on the bench, with Dyer, Skip and Lo Celso also featuring for us. It's a very strong side for us. So now we're going to quickly, normally I would do this in the pre-match review, but I didn't do a pre-match review, this is my first one. Let's have a look at the head-to-head. So before this game, we're going to do the last 5 results. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the first one was a 4-1 win at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium, with the next one being a 3-0 loss at Selhurst Park. So if you think of it, we've gone from 3-0, let's read the other ones first, because then we won 3-0, then we won 4-0, then we won 1-0. So we went from winning 1-0 and scoring 1 goal against Roy Hodgson's Palace, to scoring 2 and winning 2-1. It's pretty much the same, but at the end of the day, it's still an improvement, although it is minimum improved. It is still an improvement. So, at the end of the day, yeah. In the previous 22 matches that Tottenham Hotspur and Crystal Palace have played throughout entire time of football, Palace have won 4 games, only 18%. Drawn 3 games, which was only 14%, and Tottenham won 15 games at 68% of wins. So going into the game we were favourites, but we still managed to pull it off, which at the end of the day is what's important. If we now have a look at the stats, Tottenham had a 76% possession compared to Crystal Palace's mere 24%. We had an expected goals of 1.12 with a total shots of 10 with only 1 big chance, despite scoring 2 goals. This is the main stat for me. Crystal Palace had 148 accurate passes, whereas we, Tottenham Hotspur, had 669 accurate passes, which is 91% of our passes, and we only committed 11 fouls, which in football isn't that bad, to be fair. We did have 3 offsides and only had 2 corners. Them stats go in our favour quite a lot. By the way, this podcast is going to be just a quick one, as it is the first one, and then we'll get bigger and bigger the more we do. The one on Monday, the Chelsea one, will be quite long, I think, because we've got a lot to discuss. So after this game, we sit top of the table by 2 points of Arsenal and Manchester City, 3 points of Liverpool, 4 points off Villa, and they're the only real threats at the minute. We do look very strong, but we do need to keep it going nevertheless. We're going to have a look at the match facts now. So the first thing to happen in the match was a substitution at half time, which was Ben Davies was taken off for Emerson Royale. And then the next one was in the 53rd minute, which was the Joel Ward own goal. So what happened with this is Maddison scooped sort of a shot, and Ward's just stuck his leg out and gone, oh, okay, and it's gone into the back of the net. And Johnson started shouting, obviously his defence. They should have never been in that position playing as defence as they did, but it led us to a goal. The next thing to happen was a substitution for Palace, who brought on Rak-Saki for Jeffrey Schlupp. We then brought on Højbjerg and Basuma, and Højbjerg for Basuma and Brennan Johnson for Richarlison. And then 2 minutes later, Brennan Johnson assisted Heung-min Son. This was such a good goal. So Brennan Johnson got it, passed it to Maddison with his head, and then Maddison played through Johnson, who then cut inside and gifted it to Son to get the goal. Very good. And the rest of the things that happened were just substitutions. I told you this would be a short podcast. We've probably got about 3 more minutes left. It's only going to be a 10-minute podcast, is this first one, just to kind of let you know what it's about, a little match review. So the podcast will be on probably twice a week, a pre-match review and a post-match review. And the last thing we're going to do for today's post-match review is talk about Rodrigo Bentancur. He has been out for about a year and a month or something like that. Maybe a bit less than that. About 10 months? He came on and was quite brilliant. He had a few shots. His passes were, I think it was 95% successful, which isn't bad for a player that's been gone for that long. He came on for about, 8 minutes, because he came on in the 90th minute and there was 8 minutes of added time. He had I don't know if it'll show me, he had a match rating of 6.8, which for an 8-minute player, he had a higher match rating than Richarlison and Ben Davies. So at the end of the day, that's not too bad for Rodrigo Bentancur on his first appearance back at the club, under Ange Postecoglou, new manager as well. Now we come to the end of the first podcast. It has only been a short one. I did say it would only be a short one. It's just a quick match review because, let's be real, you've already looked at all the other podcasts, all the other match reviews, and this is a week late. But this is the first of many podcasts. We also have a YouTube channel, FM Knowledge, which this will be posted on, where we are doing currently What If Harry Kane Never Left Tottenham Football Manager 2024 beta save. Go and give that a go. We're only on the 3rd episode, so don't worry, you've not missed too much. If you're listening up until here, thank you very much, and we'll see you in the next podcast, which will be a Chelsea pre-game review. It's going to be an interesting game, the Chelsea one. We'll talk all about it then. I'll see you.